Hello everybody, my name is Chandra Ramchandani. Welcome to SkillMonde YouTube channel. This series that we started to making is on a lot of different skills that if you want to do a career, if you want to opt a career for those skills like graphic designer, animation, video editor, instructional designer, copy editor, proofreader, there are about 25 such skills that we will be coming up with our videos. Previously we have published this series on ChatGPT, and then we also had videos on basics of freelancing and if you want to opt a freelancer as well. So this video is about a skill, about a job that is the most required job I think of this digital era is what I understand, which is nothing but graphic designing. You will see everywhere, wherever, whatever product you are using, whatever website you are using, whatever education you are pursuing, you will see a role of a graphic designer. Every company needs it, every industry needs it. So in this video I will cover what graphic designers do, what kind of skills they require, what kind of courses and certifications they can look for, what is the average income graphic designer earn, and what type of companies hires graphic designers. So what do graphic designers do? They create visual art with help of different visual elements like typography, graphics, images, colors to communicate a message for their employer or a company who wants that graphic design to be done. So we all know that our brain registers the information when we look at the image or when we look at a graphic design with those information, it actually registers that information. So graphic design is everywhere, and they do, whether it is a digital media or a print media, you will see a role of graphic designers. So what are some of the basic tasks that graphic designers do? So they meet with art directors or a manager who needs a graphic design art. They understand the requirements and then they come up with the idea that how this graphic art or creative art will look like. They will discuss with them, finalize it, and then they also understand what brands are offering, what are their guidelines, what are the colors they opt for, and then they look at those graphic designing from the design perspective. So they will work with other stakeholders of the companies as well to understand the requirement, and then they start using those softwares and create those graphic design, and then finally they share the graphic design, they look for their feedback, and then they try to incorporate those feedbacks onto that graphic design. And this is the entire journey of graphic designer, from the conceptualization to ideation to design, designing to finalization. This is the whole journey of some of the tasks that graphic designer do. So some of the very basic examples of graphic designing is creating a logo, creating a brochure, creating a restaurant menu, creating a UX UI, which is user exchange, user interface for the website or an app, or creating a book cover. So these are some of the basic examples that graphic designers do. So what are the courses and certifications you should do if you want to enter into graphic designer as a career? You have degrees from universities, you have certificates and diploma from universities and institutes, and you have some of those software associations or software companies as well who provides training for graphic designing depending on your requirement and skill. For example, you have UX UI certificate, you have visual design certificate, or for example Adobe has an Adobe certificate for graphic design as well. So these are some of the options you can look for. There could be online or there could be physical institute. It depends on your requirements, and you can opt for such courses and gain that expertise if you want to get into career design. So what are some of the skills required for graphic designing? You should have attention to detail. छोटी से छोटी चीज़ आपको देखनी आनी चाहिए, तभी आप देख पाओगे कि डिज़ाइन बिल्कुल ठीक लग रहा है कि नहीं, अलाइनमेंट ठीक है कि नहीं, जो आउटलाइन है वो प्रॉपरली बनी हुई है कि नहीं. सेकेंडली, यू नीड टू बी क्रिएटिव. आपके पास क्रिएटिविटी होनी चाहिए, तभी आप ग्राफिक डिज़ाइनिंग में अच्छा कर पाएंगे. Some of the skills obviously you learn, but some of the skills I believe should be there in you. The interest should be there to pursue career, to pursue graphic designing as a career. And similarly, you need to have a color sense. Green के ऊपर yellow अच्छा लग रहा है, green के ऊपर black अच्छा लगता है. So those kind of sense, color sense should also be there. And then obviously you need to have a training of that software you want to use. that I've already discussed, that you can do some of the certifications and degree. So one is your attention to detail, second one is your color sense, third one is creativity, the fourth one is very important, is critical thinking. You need to think critically that while preparing a design or an idea to a design, that how will it look, how will it communicate the message that you want to communicate. So drawing is another skill that you need. You need to draw or sketch designs for your clients, so you need to be good at it. And then you should also be an active listener. If client is discussing their requirements, you should be actively listening to it, understand their requirements and offer the design that solves their requirement. So what all do you need in terms of hardware and software if you want to do graphic designing? You need a very good computer with a fast processor, dedicated graphic card, and you need a high memory or RAM for your computer. Then you need a tablet and pen if you want to sketch or draw, and you need a software on which you will design your art. So it is important to know who hires graphic designer if you want to enter into graphic design as a career. So there are some companies like marketing companies, you have production companies, web designing companies, you have content providers, you have educational companies. So these are some of the companies who hires graphic designers. So let's see what are the tools that you can use as a graphic designer, especially if you are a beginner or intermediate level. So you have suite of products by Adobe. You have Adobe Photoshop for design, you have Adobe Illustrator to illustrate, to make illustrations or character, you have Adobe InDesign for print media. So these are some of the tools, and then for example you have Corel Draw. So these are some of the tools that you use for graphic designer if you are intermediate. And if you want to know some of the web-based tools, you have Canva, you have Trello, you have Behance. And in further video we will also talk about tools for advanced use. We will also talk about some of the artificial intelligence tools to design your graphics. So depend on the type of the work that you do, you probably would need different softwares sometimes. And for example, if you want to create illustrations, you will use Adobe Illustrator or Corel Draw. Or for example, you want to create UX UI design for mobile app and website, you would probably use Adobe XD or Figma. So I have actually given the whole list of tools, web-based, AI-based and software-based tools, links in my description box. You can go and check it out. So how much do graphic designer earn? Actually, it all depends on the skills you have, on the experience level, on the location of work, on the type of the company. It all varies, but I think somewhere from 15,000 to 3 lakhs a month is something a graphic designer earns, depending on the years of experience and expertise he has. So there are some AI-based tools as well, wherein you basically give an input and it will create a graphic design on its own. For example, you have Designs.ai, you have Adobe Sensei, you have Photor, you have Delma 2, which is by OpenAI, a same organization that has developed ChatGPT. So Delma 2 is also there. So there are hundreds of them, AI-based tools. I will provide the list in my description box. You can try and use those as well if your requirements can be met by those. So what tools should we use if we want to create advanced graphics, for example 3D characters or animations? So for 3D modeling software, you can refer to 3ds, or you can refer to Maya, you can refer to Blender. If you want to create prototyping, UX UI design, you can look at Adobe XD or Figma. If you want to consider for color management, you can use Adobe Color, Color Bridge or Pantone Color. So apart from these tools, graphic designers require a lot of stock images where they can pick up those ready images used in their graphic design. So there are some stock libraries you can refer to. There are some free and then there are some subscription based. So some of the free softwares are pixels.com, or you have freepik.com, and then you have subscription based softwares or website stock images are iStock, Shutterstock, ThinkStock. So these are some of those stock libraries you can use for your graphic design. So I'm going to share all the links for these websites and tools in my description box. You can look at and refer it. Thank you for watching my video. Please do comment if you have any feedback or if you have any questions. I would be happy to reply. Thank you.